Hello, hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here, as ever, for today's Advanced Taxation ACCA video, where we're going to walk and talk through some top tutor tips to really break down for you what's that jump, what's that step up from the tax, the F6 paper, going on to studying the Advanced Taxation P6 paper on there. Well, you are in the right company for this because I have Aileen, who is joining us today, a top tax and advanced taxation tutor, where we're going to walk and talk through the expectations of what you need to know to pass your exam. So Aileen, feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, James. Yes, so I've been teaching tax at different levels since 2008. I run my courses now through FME Learn Online, both tax and advanced tax papers. And I've worked for quite a few of the different accounting bodies in the UK, including ACCA, where I was on the tax team. So I was responsible for signing off tax and advanced tax papers, both the UK ones and the variants. So I know a lot about behind the scenes at both of those levels. And really what the markers and the examiners are hoping students will do in the exam.
Spot on. So just so we're crystal clear for your notes for today's video, guys, it's if you're going to be doing the advanced taxation paper, day one, what to expect from there. And it'll also link into maybe you've just done the tax paper, you're considering it as an option, so you can understand that jump, that step up as to maybe is it the option paper for you on there. So Aileen, let's kick us off on here. If you've got a student, it's day one. They've got the advanced taxation book. Let's not put them off how big it is. In the post, probably arrived on a crane or out of a lorry. But what's the first thing in terms of the jump that that you get across to students who you talk with?
Yeah, probably the first thing for them to know, particularly if they've had a book delivered, something like that, is that the reason the book is so big for advanced tax is because it probably contains all the knowledge from TX as well. So don't think, oh my goodness, look how much new information I'm going to have to learn. The approved learning content that is out there tends to include the TX assumed knowledge as well. So please don't panic too much about the size of the books or anything that you might be using. But it is a really big syllabus, and you need to go into it knowing that it is a very wide syllabus and it is quite detailed as well.
Spot on. Well, they're in the right place, as I remember getting my advanced taxation books, where for my first attempt, I'd say underestimated the examination. But then when I came back second time round and thankfully passed, there were definitely areas which we'll discuss. So make sure you watch to the end of this video as to what I would have wished I'd have known if I was sitting it on there. But Aileen, what do you think will be the next top tip for someone to get written down to help them pass?
So if you have done TX, because not everybody will have, lots of students are actually exempt from TX, so they might not have done any tax since they were at university, perhaps. But whether you've done previous tax at university or you've done the ACCA TX paper, the bulk of the marks would have been for calculations. But now we're at advanced tax, we are expecting you to be able to give advice to clients. We're expecting you to be able to deal with different options. And the numbers become more like a means to an end. They're the basis of the advice that you're going to give. So the proportion of calculation to narrative in the exam switches round, and we now have more words in the advanced tax exam than we have numbers. And I think people sometimes maybe choose advanced tax because they like numbers. To be an accountant, of course, they like numbers. But they remember enjoying doing tax previously and think, oh, well, then I enjoy tax, so I'll enjoy doing advanced tax. But I think sometimes that switch over into it being more advisory, more narrative, can catch people unawares. I don't know, did it catch you unawares?
Very much so on there. As to the level of things that are ringing in my mind right now is the level of detail that was expected in the response. And also, no matter what figure you get, you've got to talk about that figure, because you've got to talk about as if a client was opposite you. So even if you think, oh, I'm not sure if I got it right, just apply your own figure and analyze it accordingly, according to all the standards on there. But other things such as pro formas, how I laid out my work, and with the narrative questions, just the basics of, if it's a 5-mark narrative question, give or take, you've got to put down 5 well-defined points on there to have any chance of getting full marks. So all these are sort of flooding back to me, Aileen, now as we're going through. But definitely something that if you're going to be doing the advanced taxation exam, is an absolute must in my book, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. And what you're saying about getting those 5 points down, I think another thing people maybe skip when they're preparing for ATX is they skip over the obvious. And by that, what I mean is they skip on to the, oh, I need to give a recommendation, I need to give advice to this client. But actually, there's marks for stating things like, Bob is a higher rate taxpayer. There's half a mark for saying that. Or you'll pay tax at 20%. And they think, oh, but that's too basic. There can't be marks. But there are easier marks and there are harder marks, absolutely. But make sure you get the easy ones. And I think people, because they think, oh, this is an advice type exam, they think they leap to that kind of end point, but actually there's some really nice easy ones to pick up on the way.
Stick to the basics on it. Completely agree. And what would you advise on the different setup of the exams? Because if imagine you've got the two side by side here, you've got the TX F6 paper versus the advanced taxation. Obviously in TX you've got that nice section A, multiple choice. How's it going to differ?
I'm not sure everybody would say it was nice.
Maybe everyone agrees. Fun, maybe on there. The comments below of this video will be, James, what do you want about for this? But for the advanced taxation paper, how is it going to differ from what you can expect to actually have to write about, and multiple choice on there?
Yeah, I think for me, it's nice that there's no multiple choice in the advanced tax paper. I think it's a nasty way of testing people, isn't it? You're right or you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can't be partially right or partially wrong. You get no credit for that. So in some ways, actually picking up the marks at a paper like advanced tax where there is no objective test questions should in theory be easier, because okay, if you do go a little bit wrong somewhere, then it's not the end of the world. Or if it's a 5-mark question and you can say 2 things, well, do you know what? Let's hope you've got two marks. Move on. Do you know? Move on to the next thing. So yeah, you don't have any objective test questions. The structure, we're in at the moment of recording this, we're in a transitional period, or we will be in a transitional period for the structure of the ATX exam. It's going from 4 questions to 3 questions. But they're all compulsory, so you can't pick and choose. And there are longer ones and shorter ones. And all questions are broken down into a number of requirements. So even if you get a requirement that you think, no, haven't a clue, don't know what I'm doing, they should be written in such a way that you can attempt them in any order. And also you don't need a number from one requirement in order to do the next requirement. So you just need to move on and get the marks that you can.
Spot on. And to add to that, absolutely spot on, to when they're moving from the 4 questions to the 3, that's because they're introducing now the professional skills marks that for anyone watching this, that's I believe it's going to kick in the first exam. Those 20 professional skills marks will be from June 2023, top of my head.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Good stuff. And how would you say for a student? Oh, sorry, Aileen. Oh.
No, I was just going to say it is a big change.
Yeah, how would you say for a student to approach those from your experience and what you've read through them?
So there's going to be less technical marks available in your paper, and therefore same amount of time. So you should be spending more time doing the things that us tutors like to tell you all the time that you should be doing, which is planning, and thinking about the format of your answer, thinking about that client, like you were saying, sitting across the table from you and you're trying to explain things to them. They're wanting students to spend more time and put more priority to that way of answering the questions. So you'll still have the same amount of time. So you should, but each of the questions is going to have a certain number of professional marks attached to it. So they'll be spread across the paper. At the moment, they have just 4 professional marks, and that's just in section A. And it's going to be now spread across the 3 questions from June 23 onwards. So it's more important for you to think about things like tax isn't the only thing that the client needs to know about. You know, is it sensible for you to recommend that they make a loss? Well, does that make sense in their business? Maybe from a tax point of view, that's actually quite a beneficial thing. But for their actual commercial business, does that make sense? Does that you want to recommend to them? So there's a bit about, you know, thinking about sort of commercial awareness that they want people to focus on. There is the things that we've always had about your presentation, you know, if you're asked to write a memo, put it in a memo format. But it's much more now about, have you actually presented calculations in a way that the client will understand? The dates, you know, have you used jargon to explain something, or have you just told them when the tax is due and given them a specific date? Because your client needs to know when that is. There's no point telling them you've got to pay it 12 months after the year end. What on earth does that mean? They don't know. They don't know what that means. You need to give them stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And we touched on it at the start of the video. Lots of students watching this are going to want some sort of measure, Aileen, on there, as to give you some sort of measure as to that jump between TX and ATX. How do you describe it as best as you can from all your years of experience?
Yeah, it's big. It is big. And I think it takes people by surprise. It really does. And also you need to give yourself a break as well, because you probably have studied tax a good few years ago and you're now trying to pick that back up again. So I think you need to give yourself time and space for this exam. It's not one that you can cram in 6 weeks. You've got your exam results, great, what's next? ATX, let's go. There are other papers I think might be like that. I'm not an expert in the other papers, but ATX is not the one that you want to be cramming over a 6-week period. You need to give yourself the time, the space to get your TX knowledge up to speed and prepare properly for this one.
Completely agree. And the other thing to add to that is you get lots of students at the applied skills level where you think, oh, with TX, the F6 paper, I could maybe do it with financial reporting or something like that. Any student I talk to, and I try to do ATX with another exam, oh my word, there's just so much information to digest and you've got to get it to the correct standard. When I did it with another paper, honestly, it just took over my world. So I would say when you're doing TX, you could maybe do that with another exam, depending on your commitments, how much available time you've got. But advanced taxation, honestly, if there's one key tip to take away from this video, just do it by yourself. Just do it by itself. Just save yourself the sleepless nights.
Yes.
Honestly, it's one of the things I wish I'd have done.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just give yourself the proper time that it takes. Honestly, ACCA it's not a sprint that you're on here. I know, particularly I think when people, most of my students, ATX is actually their last paper. And obviously they're desperate to be finished. Just want this all done. No more exams, enough. But I do find that you need to give the proper amount of time. Don't rush it. You know, give it your best shot, but give yourself a chance.
Yeah, it's to really hit home on that point. It's if you're going to be general in this advanced taxation exam, you're not going to get the marks on it. You've got to be so specific, and there's going to be detailed knowledge. And to add to that, it's got to be applied back to the scenario again, specifically for that particular period or that person or the event that's happened.
Yeah.
And your mind is just on the go for the whole exam. It's the most time-pressured exam I've ever done, but it was the
Really?
most rewarding exam I've ever done, because
Okay.
you'll go to CPD events like I do, where I sit in it and go, imagine if I hadn't have done the advanced taxation paper, I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo about what on earth is going on here. As to, I'd have some general knowledge of it, but the level of detail of the changes, it's massive, and it can really help out your own life as well.
Oh, definitely. And I think that's why a lot of people do enjoy tax, is because they can relate to it. Even if it's if they don't personally have experience of UK tax, they can still relate to some of the concepts that we cover, and can relate it to their own life. And also, you'll know yourself, when people find out you're an accountant, the one thing they ask you about is tax.
Yes.
That's all people ask you about if they find out you're an accountant.
Exactly. Yeah, obviously. And talking about tax is clearly really cool as well. So, you know, that obviously, exactly. That's why everyone wants to sit next to us at dinner parties and stuff like that. But
yeah, we've got the best jokes. Yeah.
Well, we're saying this for the recording at Christmas time, December 2022. So imagine all of our Department of Tax out and about, all sat around the table together. We are going to be a fun crew on there. But
Yeah.
Aileen, have you got any other final top tips to help out on that little jump, or should we say big jump from TX to the advanced taxation paper that students just need to know about?
So they're probably familiar with technical articles that ACCA do, and they're brilliant. When you're studying for ATX, I want you to go back to the TX technical articles as well, because there's so much assumed knowledge from TX in the advanced tax paper. And these can be some of the easier marks to get, obviously only easy if you know, but go back and read the TX technical articles. The examiner presumes that you have done this, and so you want to go back and read those, as well as the extra ones there will be for advanced tax as well.
Oh, tip top. And make sure that when you're taking down those articles, completely agree with Aileen on there, is writing down is in your own words, that when you come back to refer back to it, you go, oh, I've taken this really complicated article, which I'll admit, some of them are slightly long. Yeah, it's on there. But you've got to understand it in your way of describing it, I would say, because there's just probably not going to be enough time for you to go reread it. You've got to really understand it as you go through.
Yeah, I think if they can take some bullet points from it, even, because when I do debriefs of ATX questions, past paper questions, I'm quite blunt in my answers, and I don't use bullet points, but it's almost like I'm writing.
Yeah,
I write one sentence, that's that dealt with. One sentence, that's that dealt with, and I move on. And I think as you're going back through technical articles, try and do that, because that's a way that then in your exam you can go in there and state those facts, state those conditions for business asset disposal relief, because there's actually marks for just stating why it applies or why it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
And if you can go back through the technical articles and pull out those kind of key elements, that's a good starting point, I think.
Completely agree. Pick up on the easy marks, show your technical knowledge on it, state the facts on there, and then get on to applying back to the scenario with your knowledge, and considering the whole view on it, and especially with those professional skills marks. It's, I believe the word is the holistic approach on there, as we've got to consider everything all well-rounded now, as if you're writing for a client or in the workplace as well. But I must say, Aileen, thank you so much for today's recording. So much value. I wish I'd have watched, I wish I'd have known all these things before I was doing my examination. So guys, feel free to leave us a comment at the bottom. Aileen and I love to read them. How are you getting on with your revision? What you thought of the tips today? And also how you got on in the exam. Be sure to like this video as well, and of course subscribe so you get to see all the other videos on the channel, which could be the difference, as Aileen and I both know, in just getting that 50 plus. That could just be the little thing to get you over the line. But again, Aileen, thank you so much again. I hope you've enjoyed yourself today.
I have. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking tax.
Well, if you want to get in touch with Aileen, I'm going to put all of the details down below. Get in touch, say, hey, I watched your video, thought it was really cool. And hopefully we can be the difference in getting you that 50 plus, as you've had some students, Aileen, got the 48, got the 49.
It's the worst mark. 49 is the worst mark in the world, isn't it?
It will be all right. Follow these tips through along with the study plans we talk about on the channel, and you'll be fine on there. But as well, thank you very much. Best luck with your exam, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.